Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is the September 21st meeting of the Community Preservation Committee held in the Land Use Room. The meeting is being held hybrid due to COVID-19 restrictions. The members that are present are myself, Jeannie Reed, to my right, Brian Walker, Chris Pratt, Dave McWilliams, John Wally, Dave Spina, Beth Thomas. And there are no committee members in the
She's trying to get it
in the
on.
room. She is?
Yeah.
Okay. And it would help if I turned on the video. There we are. So we just started the meeting with no video, but we have sound. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for public comment, we will open the floor to anyone who has public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Okay. Is there anyone in the waiting room who would like to speak?
Yeah.
Peter? Okay, moving on. We are going to skip the reorganization of the committee because we do have folks from the community who are here to probably speak on behalf of some topics that we have lined up for tonight. So our first meeting of order would be the old cemetery shed restoration. And do we have someone here who would like to speak? Okay.
Good evening. We've written 3 Community Preservation Acts.
Oh, sorry, can you say your name and address?
Keith Road, 20 Bugby Road,
How do you spell that?
THEROUS.
And your address?
20 Bugby Road. Previously, the old meeting house building. When I first, before I was on the cemetery commission, I wrote a report after the CPA was approved and the funding for the stonework, and there was a couple of trees that came down, so a couple of monuments. I did a report about the trees, and at that time they took money out of the CPA fund for the tree work, which is an ongoing problem because there's probably about 80 trees that really need to come out in the old cemetery before they come down and fall down. But specifically on the shed, my original intent was to try to preserve that old shed that's back there for the historical characters. But the roof is collapsing and it's structurally unsafe. And there's 8 gravestones in there that's been there for probably 50 years or longer that I'd like to restore. And we have a need for a shed. And the town accountant says specifically that you have rehab of the shed, whereas you look at the CPA and it says that we can take any other action relative there too. It's not worth it to try to salvage the shed because it's structurally unsafe, and we'd like to purchase a new shed so that we can store equipment on that site as well as repair gravestones, and then we return them to the original location in the old cemetery. So it's a question of the wording that the accountant says is not specifically in there about the ability to purchase a shed. It's in there about rehab. So obviously you can't write to every contingency and a proposal, otherwise you have a book.
So I guess we're looking for clarification for her. Because
So that-
she's picking at the wording of what was on the warrant and what was in the original application.
Application.
So I mean, do you want us to use one wall of the old shed in the new shed? We could probably do that, but to use all the walls there, no.
I think when you're looking at historical funding, it needs to have the historical character of what was there. So I think to put a brand new shed there would not really serve the historical character. I know there's a need for a shed.
I was still gonna do the shed, but.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as
Money, that's fine,
recreating it the way it's
Right.
originally looked and things like
Right.
that
right,
might fit, but it's
Right.
just buying one from Skips or something, maybe not.
right.
Chris, that's why I was trying to keep
Yeah.
the original shed, and like that,
Right.
but we can have the contractor build a new shed to what the other one looked like.
It's pretty plain
The same
Jane what we
wood.
chose. It wasn't, you know. wasn't
No,
gonna
it's
be like,
not anything
"Why you
to-
put your back
Not
door?"
even to do with the money
Right.
thing. It's not about a money thing. It's to do with, is it historically,
Right,
same character as the old, way I'm looking at it.
right.
And then, of course, another interesting thing that came originally on the first one, I wrote bare minimum for the stonework. It was originally to be a three-phase project, which
Mhm.
we're working on phase 2 right now. And when I wrote the report about the hazardous trees, cemetery commission I was outraged when they went and spent $10,000 to have trees cut down. And then they went to the town attorney, and the town attorney said, well, the intent of the voters was the improvement of the cemetery, to take the trees down. There was not one word about trees in that original thing.
Right,
So we have other trees that need to come down because the branches are gonna fall on the stones. We just fixed with the money that you gave us. But the accountant, again, is looking for clarification. Is that under something that you said we could originally do? We need that in writing from you guys, otherwise she's not gonna let us take down the other trees with the money that we have.
Well, it's gonna take several years to take all the trees down because, there's.
Right, we do so many, 7 or 8 a year, and then we work in that area of fixing those stones. So,
is there funding from the first proposal left?
yeah, there's
Yeah.
still money in
Yeah.
there to do, and we already took money out of there to fix some trees, take some trees down. But now she's wants very specific wording. How do we get that? We don't have anything in the paperwork that was very specific for that wording. Is that a letter coming from you saying that you're okay of taking the trees down? Is that part of the job of fixing
I'm
everything?
not really sure about the.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I seem to remember that when we approved it, it was for education supplies of repairing the stones. There was not a tree mentioned in that
And that's
original
why I was
grant.
outraged about it. And at the time, I was not on the cemetery commission. I was upon it, and I said to them, in my opinion, I thought it was misappropriation of funds. And then they went to the town attorney, and the town attorney came back and said that was within the scope of the project by taking trees down. And the tree was not in a word anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's-
Did he say it was in his opinion, or did he
Yeah.
say, yeah?
Yeah,
So
that
that's,
was based upon.
and that's pretty much what we get from the town attorney. You know, they support whatever the select board decides to say.
Right.
And that's what you're gonna get. Whether it's law or not law.
Got a copy of the warrant article here?
What year was it?
2019. And then I think there was 2 more that I think went 2020. That has for the retaining wall and about rest of the shed, and then
Cause she let us take trees down last fall, we took trees down that were, pushing against the shed. So we can't save the shed and refurbish the shed if you have trees pushing on it, but we had those trees taken down. And she let us take that money out of there, but I
So-
guess,
I'm looking at one of these and it says Old Cemetery Headstone Restoration. And it says restoration and preservation of headstones at the old cemetery, right? And I look at it this way, branches are gonna fall and break headstones. Isn't that kind of preserving them to get rid of the branches?
well, that's the whole point, we're gonna be coming back to you every year asking for more money to fix the same stone we just fixed if we don't take care of the tree that's rotten right above it.
Right.
So it's not like we're just in there taking down all these nice, beautiful trees.
see, and
These are big, huge rotten trees that are dropping big, huge branches like all the time.
and another important factor to consider is that we're doing more self-help and not going to conservators to do some of this work. Because I'm fully capable of doing a good significant part of the restoration.
And they're
Back-
expensive.
And they're very expensive, like just on Monday, we repaired 3 huge monuments. And it probably would cost if we had contracted out about $2,000.
And then they don't show up. We book them and then 6 months later, they still haven't shown up. So it's just, we're just doing the work ourselves.
The big obstacle in front of us is the old sandstone, brownstone that are in front of the cemetery that can no longer read the faces. And all that, that's phase two.
Yes, it's all about the wording for her, to allow us to use the funds. Every time we go to her to use the funds, she's saying that, where does it say that? I have no clue.
Yeah.
I wasn't there when you guys approved it. I wasn't there when it was written. I wasn't there when they put the words together for the warrant article. She pulls out a warrant article and says, it doesn't say anything in there about, just says refurbishing. Well. Like, what is not doing? How do we work
Yeah.
around that? You know?
I was there. And our intent was to improve and not maintain, I can't say that's a dirty word, but improve, and retain the historical significance of that, cemetery.
Right.
And if the trees are part of that, I'm on the same page as Dave.
So people's
Take
intent
'em
when
down.
they voted for that was to let us to do what we gotta do to fix them and keep them from getting hit and struck and by branches, then if that was their intent when they voted on it. And I guess my thing is also like, we need to be very careful how we word things in the future.
Well, I guess that's kind of where I was gonna go. Would it make sense for you folks to write up exactly like almost a detailed listing of what you're looking to do and give us a chance to look at it so that we can say, yeah, we think this is okay, this isn't okay?
I think, yeah,
I think
agree with
the issue really is, there's only two issues. It's the shed and tree work. I think without a question, I'm gonna have to do another CPA submission for the spring for additional trees, because there's a lot of them that really need to come down. And it's quite, you wouldn't want to be there on a windy or a stormy day, because somebody will get killed in that.
Here's the old cemetery.
We're not looking to
What
add
are
to
you
the
saying?
population.
Yeah.
No.
What are you saying, that we should be writing something, a new one?
I'm asking the board whether or not even for a new one, for the work that you're looking to do.
Right.
So that, if you get questioned by somebody about whether or not we approved it, at least we had a look at.
And you have a say on it, and you can send it back to us.
Yeah,
This is
I think kind of a CYA, and, we can, if need be, look at it and work with you to tweak the wording if need be to get it where it needs to be. But just so that there's a record of what you're doing
Yeah.
and a record that came into this commission to approve or not approve.
Right, and if we say, go ahead and cut the trees, like, you're gonna go hog wild and cut all the trees down
No,
out there,
no.
and no, I'm just
Right, yeah.
devil's advocate, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it'd be nice to know which trees you're looking at cutting, making sure the historical.
And out of
integrity is
our
left.
budget, we're also replacing. We're putting
Yeah.
trees that are only gonna get 10, 15 feet high. They're not gonna be near monuments.
Thanks.
So
Back.
we're making it look nice.
No, I believe in you guys. It's not a
It's
question,
just frustrating when we go
That's
to
just-
try to do work
right?
and we've waited all year to get the work done, and now we're being stopped by the accountant because it's not worded right.
And of
Or it's
course,
not on the warrant, right?
And again, the important thing is about the shed. And there's no doubt that I'm gonna write a CPA for trees, because we need to take a whole bunch of, there's all these Norwegian maple trees along the edge on the southern border that are. One of them came down, took down a huge monument that I had repaired 2 years ago. That was a beautiful sandstone board pieces. Fortunately, it didn't do any damage to it. So I had that one fixed 2 years ago. And then they took out some marble monuments on the northern rim of the wall from another tree. But there are so many hazardous trees in that cemetery, and these huge pine trees, but the limbs just keep coming off, and that's on the back section. And then and there's predominantly all these type of trees that have no business being in there. The barbed off past here.
Yeah.
Life cycle.
They were probably pretty when they first put them. in.
right.
But I'm just gonna leave you guys with what the shed looks like, just so you have an idea.
Awesome, thank you.
And if we have to, if the only way we can get the shed, a new shed is by keeping it very to that era of, and then reusing the boards here for the inside of the new shed. I don't know.
I guess that's.
I don't even know if either,
Stretching it.
yeah, I mean, I don't think that would be necessary. I think building it in the same manner, keep it historically significant.
Right.
And, you know,
Yeah, in character with what's here. Right.
it probably wouldn't cost that much to build that right now.
Okay.
Actually, this-
That's a 20 by 20.
And if any of you
Yeah.
haven't been to the old cemetery, I would,
Not in a long time.
yeah. You know, the back section is really beautiful, and of course, if you drive down College Highway,
Yeah,
you can see all of the white, but there's still a lot of work. that needs to be
Looks
done.
great.
What were you quoted on as a price for the shed?
24,000.
And is there a picture available of what you think you want?
Yeah, I mean, I can give that to Sabrina on Friday.
That'd be great.
I suggest what you want should be put a real lot. a lot.
Yeah. As close.
With sound walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not falling, but same type of wood, the same shape.
straight roof would be good.
Yeah,
Well-
it's not anything fancy, believe me,
Yeah.
not something you want in your backyard.
And you have your person that you have as building the shed would be able to historically replicate?
That's what we're working on,
Okay.
yeah.
And I think that would be included in the summary. It would be helpful as well, because I think that's where it could be justified.
One second. Madam Chairperson.
Yes, sir.
So at our last meeting, we started going through all of the old projects and
We
we're trying
did.
to get some closure on those. Could we actually, since we have them here, maybe address some of the projects that were outstanding? That said still in progress and maybe,
Which one's for
Did
you?
I give that to Sabrina?
I don't know. That's why
We
I-
had a few, and some of them were on the fence of whether they were historical in nature or cemetery.
Right.
We did get an answer from historical about some restoration of,
Yeah, I mean, like the one was cemetery records. Is that
That's
closed?
done.
Is that closed out?
I suppose I'll.
Okay,
Okay.
I think that's what we were trying to
Which one
figure out if they were
cemetery
ongoing or not.
Which one is-
oh,
That
right
would have been
here.
the Ponton stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been completed and I updated on the website, on the
Okay,
CP3 report, it's completed.
What
okay,
other
good.
ones are you thinking about?
See a Southwick Cemetery fence.
That's done.
And I've
Mhm.
updated the website for that as well.
Okay, good.
Might have one more.
Well, there was the
Headstone restoration.
cemetery rehabilitation, which was retaining walls, repoint
The
brickwork.
retaining wall was completed.
Okay, so really it's just the old.
Well, that's part of the shed thing too.
Yeah,
That's part of the-
that was your application.
Oh,
That's what we're talking about.
That's the application that we're
Yeah.
basically discussing.
Yeah.
My opinion, all you have to do is go to a few carpenters and get a quote to build this building. With the same type of materials, all those materials are still available. I imagine it's just rough cut pine on the sides and true 2x and the roof and hopefully no plywood, like there is in the tobacco factory.
Yeah.
Double check. Does it say?
It would be under this restoration or right here, right? It
Mm,
doesn't say how much.
No, because
I think,
this is. on
have
the
you done any
state website.
research to
Yeah,
see what the original roofing was, whether it was shakes or?
This is on the-
Along the line. like,
This is the
that it-
opening and the closing.
It's gonna be the restoration.
Asphalt shingles, that's all.
Yeah, these are architectural shingles.
Well, I know these are, but I'm saying what was the original shed? I doubt it was those. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm sure it wasn't.
We have no idea what that
It
either.
was probably wooden shakes or slate, one of the two.
Like the Morehouse.
Yeah.
Would we have to still do the same, so that same thing?
I would want to, yeah, to the extent. I mean, if someone goes back there and they want to see what the shed was like when it was originally built, they're not gonna want to see asphalt shingles on it.
Right.
There's no you don't have any records among the shed, but most built there in photos of the original building shed. to my knowledge.
Okay. So we can, we'll table this and look forward to a summary of some things from you guys, and then we can revisit it.
Okay. How soon would you folks look at that and be able to come in and make a determination?
I would think,
Didn't we decide on like by December 31st? Otherwise, it's gonna be a scramble to get it to the town meeting.
Well, we wouldn't have.
Well, that
get
wouldn't
this
have to
town
go
meeting.
down.
yeah,
I think there's already funds available for it.
Right.
I just can't
We
get
just
it
have to
released.
approve the funds to be used for what they
You're-
want.
your new tree application, December 31st.
Yeah.
Is your deadline for that one. But since the funds are already there, again, you're looking for the actual approval of,
Yeah, you take out about 6 trees right now. So that's about all we could do.
I'm sorry, Lisa, did you state your name and address? Tw-
Maybe you just didn't hear me.
Didn't, hold on, where's my writing stuff? Oh, I'm so disorganized.
so our next meeting would be.
Address again, sorry.
28 David.
28 Davis Road. Thanks. Thank you.
And again,
Next
the
meeting.
Spirit Walk is scheduled for
What?
29 October. I would encourage you to attend it because you're gonna see some beautiful stuff there, as well as the reenactors that are there do a marvelous job.
Yeah.
What day is that again?
October
29th.
29th.
October 29th.
So 1, 2, 3. So
Thank you.
thank you. We can notify you of our next meeting.
On the agenda
Sabrina
for
can,
19.
it's the 19th, it's
The 19th of
tentatively the
October.
19th of October.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Check,
you.
We'll see if I show up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, okay, moving on. We have, next, we have the application for the Southwick Congregational Steeple Church. And I think we have some folks in the crowd who would like to possibly speak on behalf of your very thorough application. Hi.
My name's Eric Nitz. I live in Westfield. I'm not a South resident. However, I grew up in Southwick. Go to Southwick Congregational Church. I'm chair of the Buildings and Grounds Committee. Jim Putnam was supposed to be here on our finance committee, but he's on vacation, so he asked me to step in. So yes, our church put in an application for CPC funding on our steeple restoration. A little history on what we found is that, we had some leakage in the steeple. And, the American, chestnut beams on the inside, there were a couple of them that were rotted out. Steeple had a little bit of lean. We took immediate action to have some structural, work done to that, but there's also the exterior part, there's some, boards that are rotting and such. And, that brought about the application that you see before you. And the reason we did that, and I'm just quoting here from different sources. This one here is the Massachusetts Cultural Resource Information Center, a system. Southwick Congregational Church is the single most visually striking edifice in Southwick. Its commanding location in the present town center and architectural beauties are irrefutable. And I think that the Southwick Historical Society is ranked as the #1 historical building in town. I'm not sure if you've all read our application. We pretty much filled out, told of our scope, what we hope we can, or what we need to do. The work that we've had done already, we've had some structural LVL beams put into the steeple, the bell deck. So just a quick explanation. As you look at the church, you have the louvers in front, that's where the bell hangs. And the floor underneath that is called the bell deck, and it's a planted floor. So if water comes into the louvers, it drains out the bottom of the louvers. Church is 200 years old, and what happened on the north side, which is where you get your most, you get those rainstorms that come from the northwest. It was a copper and lead system along the edge of the louvers. And after 200 years and the thing moving, it created a leak that drip, drip, drip. And these big beautiful beams basically rotted out. I was the one that found out about it. I happened to pick up on these Ryobi flashlights from Home Depot, and they're big and bright. Well, the first time I've been up in the steeple, I used my cell phone flashlight. And I was walking up the stairs to get to the bell deck just to check things out. And the flashlight beam hit this beam, and it was totally rotted out, and I think we have pictures of it in our application. Immediately called in structural people that handle architectural buildings like this, churches and such. And they gave us the bid, and we had that taken care of. We have the balance of the restoration being done next spring. And our hope is to get the steeple into pristine order. The building is going to be 200 years old, 2024. If in the research that I've done as far as the community preservation.org, they've had approximately 6,300 architectural projects, of which there have been over 36 have been with churches, and they listed the criteria of why the church would fit into the CPC funding. Basically, they say many houses of worship serve broad community needs. And our church, yeah, we have our Sunday worship, of course, but Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Alcoholics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous,
Crop walk.
yeah.
Pasta suppers for like the police association.
Yeah, that historical society, so it's more than just a church. And if you Google Southwick, Mass, or you go to Wikipedia for Southwick, Mass, it's that church is the picture that comes up. Anyways, just a quick overview.
Thank you. Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Does anyone else would want to speak on behalf of the application? Okay.
Eric, I'm sorry, can you tell me your address? And your first name, last name and address?
Yeah, it's Eric Nitsch, Nitfth. I live at 23 Mill Street in Westfield.
Mill Street?
No.
I'm the chair of the buildings and ground committee for the church.
Does anyone on the board have any questions?
I just think since we're recording it, just to note that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters that came in with the application supporting the project from the public.
That is
So just
correct.
to make note of that, I think would be important.
I'll make a motion to approve of it.
Well, second.
Okay. Motion has been requested to approve the application for the Second Congregational Church application. John Wally for motioned it. Chris Pratt seconded the motion. I'm sorry, guys. I lost my train of thought. We'll do a roll call vote. Myself, Jeannie Reed, aye. Go to my right.
Very well, aye.
Chris
David.
Pratt, aye. I just left a note.
Dave McWilliams, aye.
John Wally, aye.
Dave Spina, aye.
Al Thomas, aye.
Okay,
Cassandra?
Cassandra here. Yes, I.
thank you. Okay, unanimous decision to approve the application for the Southwick Congregational Church steeple and the bell tower.
spend a lot of time in that attic. Any chance you can get air conditioning up there while you're doing that? Huh? That'd be nice.
It's very hot.
Little hot,
Mhm.
little hot.
He took a vacation. I went to go take pictures, knowing what was going on during that heat wave.
Yeah, yeah, we got like, so with the stuff, we have this huge tent that we use all the time, and it's the worst place to store it up there.
Yeah.
Lugging that thing up and down the stairs all the time is a lot,
Yeah.
but thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so the next process would be for the application to be reviewed and approved for a town vote. I'm not sure if we're going, there's some grumblings about a special town meeting that may happen before May, but I'm not sure if that is actually true. So if it could get on there, we could try to, and if not, it would have to go for May. I'm not sure when your work is scheduled, you know, what your schedule for work would be.
Like I said, the structural has already been done, that needed to get done, so we just took immediate action on that. And the other one, I don't have a definite date, it's in the spring.
Okay.
And it all depends on the contractor's, schedule,
Okay.
and of course, weather plays a big part in something like that.
So is the only thing that needs to get done though, really, is a warrant article written up and presented to town council and the select board? Is that the next step?
Yes,
Okay.
that is the next step. So would it have to be a warrant article? Yes. And I would think that we could reach out to you or, I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Jim?
Jim,
Jim Putnam?
yeah, excuse me, to let you know what the next step will
Sure.
be. Then we can go from there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming, Eric.
Thank you. Sure. All right. Moving on, okay. So we will, we'll go to the CPC selection criteria. So we were, at our last meeting, we did discuss about our application and our CPC criteria form. And I know that we were thinking to kind of downsize it. Do we need to? Are we okay with this form? Is there any suggestions anyone has?
So if I didn't know anything about the CPC and I saw this somewhere, I would be like, there's yes, no,
And unknown,
unknown,
yeah,
and then it's numbered.
right.
The one thing I would change is the yes and no columns should be a little bit bigger because when you're quick scanning, you're like, it looks like an eye chart. You know, it really
It
does.
is pretty small.
But I would make the yes and no column, or at least the header a little bit bigger so that somebody who hasn't sat here
Mhm,
knows what the heck it says.
mhm.
So in your folders,
Excuse me.
you have something with the old criteria. So,
Excuse me.
yep, and it has sort of like a little note that's highlighted. And then after that, we have something that Chris Pratt created, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something.
Probably.
So I'm not sure if you want to look at both of those and see, like, do you like Chris Pratt's suggestion? It's very streamlined, in my opinion,
It's kind of
easy to.
blended between what we had and other communities. So I kind of did a little peer poaching from other communities, looked at their criteria selections, see what applied to our town that I thought applied. You know, wanted to bring it to everybody to make sure we all agreed on things. The application process itself could be online. It's an interactive application that could be posted online for people to apply online rather than have to bring into town hall and put into the clerk's office and then into the mailbox of the secretary. So it'd be an easier process for the public to apply. Easier for us to get a hold of rather than waiting for it to go through the whole cycle. there've been applications that have come and been put on people's chairs in their offices before without
Yeah.
notification. So I mean, there have been the process isn't really defined right now. I think that would help define the process a little bit better.
I think Sabrina has been working on asking if we can have the application uploaded to where it is a PDF file where it can be filled out.
Yeah.
What's your? you
It's
have any-
possible, it can be a PDF file. As far as having like a submit button, Jim says not with the PDF. But I saw on,
PDF isn't interactive.
right, I
Well, I'm not
saw
good with computer lingo, so
That's
I.
okay. No,
could
that's
have
okay.
wrong.
Well,
somebody,
PDF is just a picture, basically.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And, so he can change that PDF to make it
Yeah.
interactive where you can type stuff
But right
in.
now, it is interactive, the way I set it up. You can type into it, but it's.
Your
but
file,
The file you
Okay.
can type into, however, I don't know if you can save it as a template. That was my question. Can we save that as a template or the next person that types in it and then it's done?
And
You know
it's
what I mean?
saved as the previous
We would have
application.
to save it as something else and then,
Church people.
repost it, change the name,
Yeah.
repost it as its original.
That's not heavy lifting it from a programmer standpoint.
Well,
No,
think
they're,
so.
they're like, you guys, they would be like, you guys are way overthinking this, just let me do it. Really,
It's
programmers are like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what we want. Can you put it into an application that can be
So,
submitted online?
okay, here it is.
But do we have the person that has that capability? And I'm not saying it to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I don't know this guy or how busy he is or if he has the ability or whatever. I don't know that.
sorry, specifically the ability to do what again? To,
We want to have an online application that with a submit or send button that
So,
lands
right.
at your computer
with the submit or send button, that it's a little more complicated.
or
I have seen on other towns' websites where they have sort of like the master plan. They had the application on a third-party website, or whatever, and you can have a submit button if you want to do that. I mean, there's a couple ways.
Right,
You can just, people can just bring up the PDF, type in what they need to type, save it, and then just email it to me. Right?
But I think, I would have the conversation with Jim
So
about this
can I pass
because
this
it
around?
shouldn't be that difficult.
I
You're
did, but
basically putting a form up and you're entering a form.
right, but our website, I don't think supports that type of
Process.
thing.
Well, I was
Cause I
trying-
asked him already and he's like,
Yeah,
I can't do the submit button. I don't know, maybe you can twist. his arm. Here,
So the-
give us that submit button.
So the reason why the criteria was on the list of things to do was I was trying to dissect it so we weren't 3 hours at a meeting just trying to decide how our application was gonna look. That's why I just thought with the criteria page. The draft that Chris has here, I like. I had another one I took off of another.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to get the conversation started.
There's tons of applications,
Yeah.
not tons, but there's probably like 10 applications on the website that we can kind of, cheat from. And we are free to use them. It just says it right on the
Right,
CPA website. Also, I like, and I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I like this one I printed out was right on the webpage was, the town has listed deadlines for everything. The project
Mhm.
eligibility form has this deadline, the application, we notify them on this date. Then, the funding application is due on this date, and then the project presentations are on this and this date. So I'd love for it to be really just like spelled out.
yes, absolutely. That's the
Yeah.
whole idea.
And this
Sign me
was
up.
one I took off of, I just thought maybe
There's a lot
at
of
our
issues.
meetings,
That's for sure.
we can just kind of
Right now.
dissect parts of the application and agree upon stuff and say, this is what we want and kind of keep moving on with it.
Do you guys want
Um,
to see it?
this was just an idea that I took off of, a very well-prepared, application from a very wealthy town in the state, however, but, it is very well,
So,
done.
so is this one.
Well,
But it's very well.
not so, for sure. It is. So that's an idea, is to have deadlines that are established. And then we just update them year by year.
So this looks like, yeah, it's just a cover page with links to. what
Yeah.
Chris has put, like,
Oh, yeah.
this would be a link off of. this.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
And yeah, do I think that, let's see, 14, 24, another 14, so that's what, 38? Another 8, so 44 questions on a criteria page? That's a lot of questions. Do we need that much? When like
Oh.
the draft that you had has a box to check, what is your application of? apply
I
to?
always,
What-
I always kind of thought this criteria page was us. For us, not for the applicant.
I'm not sure, I don't know, is
So it's
that,
for both.
yeah,
I mean, I think. I like, obviously like this,
Mhm.
when I look at the section criteria, like when we were talking about the historical, when I just did here for the shed, I started picking up. This cheat sheet that I got,
Yeah.
which has does this qualify? or not?
yeah,
3 or 4 questions.
Yeah.
If they could answer those 3 or 4 questions, we could quickly scan and say,
Right.
yep, this meets the criteria, good to go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they know that, yes, it's good to go,
Mm-hmm.
it's worth even applying.
Those flow charts are.
Yeah.
They're gold.
That's all I-
They are.
I agree.
they're great, they
Should-
really do, that one.
Should I put
especially.
that on our website?
I would think that,
If it's
yeah,
still in,
Yeah.
if it's still current, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It is, yeah,
Can I,
yeah, sure.
Absolutely. You can get that right off the CPA
Mhm.
website. That's,
I'll copy it and we'll put it.
I mean, it
Just
would
put a
be,
link.
that would be the first thing, before you do anything else, start here.
Yeah,
You know,
make
with
sure you're
this.
even, your
You
ID
know,
is
you're
eligible.
eligible.
You
Like,
are
that's the
here at the
historical ones,
beginning.
There's
Yeah.
ones for every category, right?
And I know right now on the website, which Sabrina has done some updating, which it looks good. We do have our application deadline is December 31st.
Yeah.
So we do have that. So at least we
Mhm.
have something so that we don't run into an issue we had last year.
It'd be nice even to just publicize the overall timeline, not even what they have to do, but, stuff we do, yes, we have to have a warrant article drafted by whenever, it's gotta be reviewed by town council by whatever, it's,
Mhm.
there's all those
but
steps.
that's
We
kind
know
of
that
on
everything-
us, though.
That's something on
That's
us,
us.
exactly, but we
Right.
still, so everybody
Right.
knows, yeah, when we apply, here's the process.
And it
From there.
it should be applied for by and approved by are two different things
Yes.
as well.
Where did I put? Maybe it's in the application.
There were a couple people
Or
who came to
CPA,
us
though.
last year that, much like today, we sent them away because we needed more information from them. And
There's
one of,
something.
I think our overall thought processes was if they got the application in December
Mhm.
and it went to a warrant article, that gave us January, February, March to straighten it out and get it perfected. I don't know if,
I mean, that could be good for some applications and not enough for others.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I
maybe we
think it
wanna put
depends
it
on the scope
That's
of
why
it.
the approved thing has to be at some point.
Ye-
approved,
yes.
yes,
By
approved
this
by
date.
here, submitted by there, and maybe
Right.
even
Yes,
strongly recommended that you come talk to us early. way back
Correct.
Here to make
Right,
sure you have
yes.
the information you're looking for.
Yeah.
Not required, but you're at risk.
Right.
Yeah.
which is kind of what this is that I had passed around was, get your criteria and let us review and let us say, hey, okay, now you can throw your application and get it going.
Jeannie, somebody in that-
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Sure.
I'm sorry, Michelle Warren,
Excuse me, could you just repeat your name? We didn't hear you. Or-
and I'm sorry, could you maybe come closer so the owl can pick you up?
I'm Linda Schomer,
Oh, I
and
was way off.
I'm president of the Historic Society in town.
And the
And
last
I-
name?
Schomer, Schomer,
What's your address?
22 Winfield Circle,
Winfield?
Winfield. Mhm.
That's Southwick, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right across from the Hash House Restaurant.
Oh, okay.
College Highway, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walking.
Well,
Mhm.
we have been so fortunate to work with this committee on a couple of projects ahead of, in the past.
Mhm.
And we are looking to do the final, I think, I hope, I don't know if you say final,
Nothing's fine.
but we're trying. We have a north wall on the Morehouse, and if you go by, you can see the north wall is bulging. And we need to do some repairs on the north wall. And we need to do some structural work on the siding and obviously painting. We've already done some work on our own. We've just finished restaining the cigar factory, for which we had some funding here from the town. We just finished repairing the handicap ramp. And so we're preparing the next sort of phase of our updating and restorations. And we needed to know, I noticed I was looking at, the minutes, and it talked about application process and deadlines. And so I guess I'm here tonight just to find out, what would I be looking for the society? And you're all in the middle of this too. What are the processes? What can we do? How can we work together and going forward? So that's kind of why we came tonight, just to find out where should we go at some point. We're looking at several funding sources, not only the town, and we're actively working with contractors for bids. So I just, I guess it's information gathering, just to find out what should we do? What should we be doing? What is the time frame for the application? Do you need to review it before? So that's what I'm. That's what
We
I'm
were
here
just
for.
talking about-
Yep, that's,
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
We were just discussing that.
You're actually
Well, I
helping us.
did.
yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, we just need to, we don't want to waste your time. We don't want to,
Right.
and we're just trying to be helpful and try to find out what's the best way. to
Right
proceed.
now, I think we were talking about by the end of December to have the application completed and turned in to us for review, so we at a meeting. So we could discuss it at a meeting. The earlier the better, because it might take a few meetings for us to go over things and discuss things.
Okay,
And the further it goes, it might not happen in time for the town meeting.
okay, so the end of
so-
the year is what we should be thinking about. Okay.
Yeah, and,
But you should start the process now.
Should be
Yeah.
thinking about our next
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
yeah, bring it in as soon as you can. I mean, if you
Do
get your
do you
bids.
have an application that I may see or work with, or are you reviewing that?
It's online.
Do you have access to the internet? Can you get
Sure, I
online?
do.
So I just brought up the website. Actually, I'll just go to the main page just to show you how to
Okay.
get there. So boards and committees.
I've got this. I mean, I went there. so-
Okay, perfect. And then over to the left, bar, I have application
Okay.
highlighted. Just
Great.
click on that. And then there's the CPC selection criteria questionnaire.
Perfect.
That needs to be completed.
Okay,
And then the application for the CPC funding, that's the application, of course,
Yeah.
but both of them need to be done.
We're looking at streamlining those things now, but that's what's in play.
So
okay.
I'm noticing the questionnaire is kind of really easy, right?
Yeah,
That's
this is what the
this-
questionnaire is, which is exactly what we were
Yeah,
just
this is
talking
the-
So
about.
we can decide if we're gonna.
So if you want, you would start by submitting this,
Okay,
but we're still working in progress with how we're, like, Chris said,
Mhm.
we're streamlining things.
okay.
However, this would be, something you would start first. And then what it is basically doing is asking you, does your project, meet the qualifications or the standards of the,
Yeah.
what the state requires? And if you really are confused about that, you can go on the Community Preservation, Coalition website for the state.
Mhm.
And there is a plethora of information on there, and it
Okay.
breaks it down into, there's one whole section on historical. Actually, you want to pull that up, you could show her.
I'm wondering, did I?
And it'll answer any questions, because some of the things that you may need funding for to be done may not meet the criteria, because it's either restoration or rehabilitation,
Mhm.
but it'll explain that on the website.
Okay,
And then, because you have to meet certain, I know that the Morehouse was already done or restored through CPC funds.
Where is
Get
it?
some of the roots, yeah.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
So you just kind of can break it down on the website.
Here's the
And that's
flow
the
chart. that
flow
helps.
chart we were talking about
Okay,
So
also.
that's from the CPA website, the coalition website.
okay,
That's nice and simple.
Yeah,
okay.
This is the Community Preservation Coalition website, and they have a ton of information. That's where that flow chart came from.
and the best thing, I think, is to look in this technical assistance section. And there's tons of articles and it says, is our project allowable? And it really breaks it down. And actually, I think this is exceptional as well to use. Is it asks you these questions and, you answer in your head. If you would qualify.
Okay,
And there's tons of reading and really good information on
Yeah.
this.
Last yes, there is the one you'd be looking for.
Yeah,
Historical rehabilitation.
and or restore,
and-
yeah,
Or restore is allowable.
right.
Yep.
And it says yes, so then that kind of automatically tells you, hey, okay, we're on the right path here. And then even into, if you go into historical preservation, then there's articles about certain preservation that has happened throughout the state. And it gives you definitions of preservation and rehabilitation, what the difference is.
okay,
And you can kind of really educate yourself on that to be able to be specific with your application, which helps the committee be able to approve quicker and not have, 4 or 5 meetings on semantics of the application or what kind of work you're having done.
okay. Well, that'd be helpful, thank you. Well, as I say, I saw it on the website, so I thought I'd
Okay,
kind of find out
yeah,
exactly where
yeah,
you're at
sure.
in this whole
Thank
project.
you.
You know, and speaking of the cemetery, we're doing a spirit walk. As Jean said,
We heard the
if you've not
29th.
done it, it's the 29th from 2 to 4. And we'll have online reservations so that you keep, to
My wife's
keep
birthday,
COVID.
I'll bring her for her cousin.
What a sport.
It's really fun.
Date night.
We
So
have,
romantic.
We have characters all in costume.
Mhm.
And this will be our either the 8th or 10th year, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was good when I watched.
Pretty neat.
That's awesome.
It's really neat.
And just a little quick
wanna
things
be a
that
character.
I wanted to say, this coming Sunday, if you have children or grandchildren, we're doing our first ever family day. And all we ask is that if you come and participate with your children, that you bring us some kind of non-perishable item so we can donate it to the community food pantry. We thought that would be, a worthwhile project. And we've been doing some interesting things. We hope to do next summer, we hope to do a couple of mornings for kids, for programming for kids during summer vacation. I think that's great. And we're working actively now with Westfield and the Westfield Historic Commission, the Westfield Historical Society, the Dewey House, our 2-building museum, and the Drum Factory up in Granville. And we picked out October 14th next year to do a tri-town history trail on one day.
Nice.
We're gonna link all together so that we can work to do some interesting outreach.
Super.
Very nice.
So, yeah,
Neat things.
so we've got some good stuff coming. So thank you very much.
Thank
So
Thank you.
I'll head to that. And,
Sure.
So December 31st is our D-Day.
That's your absolute
D-Day.
D-Day.
Well, just to understand, that is when the process needs to be complete. That, you need to have your application in well in advance of that.
Okay.
I think October 19th.
Don't push it.
Now, we're having such time to try to get all these fellows in to give us some
Yeah.
quotes. I don't know if you've had any problem.
Yeah.
Boy,
Hard.
we've got the project. that we
Mhm.
just, we're working to get these contractors in.
Get the criteria
Well,
down
they-
first. And then,
Yeah, they can do the criteria, but we need to know how much they're
Eventually.
gonna ask for. They have to ask for the amount of money.
if we do the criteria right away, we can say, yeah, it looks like it'll go through.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like it will go through.
well, thank you. I hope, I need the wall to go through. Wow, if you look at the wall, you can see how it's built out on the north side. So that really has to be fixed.
Yeah.
You don't want anything to go through the wall.
I want the wall to stand.
Right.
Never mind.
Exactly.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
Come
coming
here
in.
ahead of time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, so where do we? Kind of,
That reeks of a subcommittee, in my opinion.
I think you
Yeah.
are
I
absolutely
love the
correct.
idea.
Yes,
Ooh.
I love the idea.
Three
Really?
people,
Ah,
three volunteers sit down, go through every item and come with to the
Recommendation.
Yeah.
committee with a recommendation of what it should look like.
I think that's a great idea. Is there any volunteers for a subcommittee?
I will volunteer.
Absolutely,
Can I volunteer?
absolutely.
why not?
Right.
I don't know.
I'd almost insist on it.
You would
Like
count as part of the
coordinator.
quorum.
Huh?
You would just be an extra person. You don't even count as part of the quorum.
Mhm.
So we can. still
Can I
have-
be part of the, be part of
part
the,
of
site?
the-
Or do I have to be
No,
there?
you are,
No.
you are gonna be the one implementing.
Yeah.
No,
When
but
you
you
get it out
can be a
there.
voting member of the subcommittee.
Yeah.
I don't know if the subcommittee would have a vote, would it?
No,
I don't-
subcommittee
Oh.
can make suggestions, that's all.
We're
Oh,
just bringing it back
yes.
to be voted on. We're not voting. on it.
We need the brightest minds,
Yes.
so obviously you have to be there.
See you later.
You have to be there.
I'm out.
No.
Yes, you've got the
I
history.
got a thing that day.
So we have,
I have a thing every day, but I will help.
so we have 3 folks. Do we think that's enough?
Yes,
Sure.
any more than that,
It's complicated.
Yeah,
Yep, it's sticky.
that's
so,
how you end up with a camel, remember?
okay, so what we'll do is, we'll have a subcommittee, we'll have a, CPC application subcommittee. How does that sound?
Great.
Perfect.
When's our first meeting?
Right after this one.
Okay.
Somewhere. else.
Commencing now.
And- Okay, so we have Sabrina and we have Chris and we have Beth. Okay,
So that's all we have to do for subcommittees. We just say we're gonna do
Yeah,
it.
well, we have to decide when to meet, but we don't have to meet here. It doesn't have to be posted.
Okay,
Because all we're doing
We're-
is
we're-
researching
right.
and making a recommendation to the board.
Right.
Yeah.
perfect. All right,
So
You're
We're not
looking for
deciding
town
anything.
funding.
okay, okay.
okay, so that sounds good.
Mhm.
So, we want it done by October night. No, I'm kidding, guys.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
I'm
statement.
joking,
Yeah.
but,
I mean,
Because,
we
because
might
then
be
you've
able
got to
to
get
no,
it to
I
the web
understand. You
designer.
want it done.
And then you
no,
got it, you know,
You want it done as soon as possible, but we do
Well,
all
it's probably
have
not gonna
lives.
happen for this year, for this round.
right.
Right. I
But we've
get
been
that.
blabbing about this for.
We have been for.
No, I know,
I'm-
it's
I'm
probably
sick
not
of
gonna
it.
happen.
So end it.
I mean,
Right.
if we want people to get their applications in, they're gonna be using what's on.
Right,
Right.
we can always just keep that
But
up.
we have it there. And it's
Yeah.
there.
Right.
I know
There.
it.
So,
Oh, wow.
Continue using that,
Oh,
the other one been voted on.
Yeah.
Draft.
We'll do
But
that.
then for new applications,
Because then we can
you know,
do the
with the
web guy.
grandfather
and
clause,
we'll get it to
yeah,
the five minutes, And then next year it'll be
and then
good to go,
going forward. Yeah.
instead of this mud.
Sounds good. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So moving on, Dave,
What?
did you want to talk about,
Which one?
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I
Dave
know.
McWilliams?
Yeah, Dave.
Well, because Dave McWilliams' name is on the agenda.
I didn't
Yes,
put it
I did
there.
that on
Dave
purpose.
Marino is not.
Not on the agenda.
So, are we, so did you want to talk about CPC signs?
Sure,
Did you have anything to come
Dun,
back
dun,
with?
dun, 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 dun.
right here.
Okay,
So just going back to a couple of meetings ago, I think that as a CPC organization in town, we need a little publicity,
Yep.
right?
I thought it was.
And I've seen some in other towns, specifically, I've seen one in Westfield at the old Bentley building, billiards building in the center of
Doesn't
town.
that mean I am
Where
sharing
there's a
this
big
with-
sign saying that the CPC funds are helping to revitalize this building. So I actually went through Stuart Stagniar and he sent me to this site about what some other towns are doing. And my thing is, I think, I would like to recommend 2 sets of signs. And one set would be a large sign for projects that are working in progress that can be put out and displayed and say your CPC funds at work, right?
So what's the middle one there?
But also, I would like to see for projects that are completed, a smaller plaque style sign that stays with the project that says the citizens of Southwick and your CPA funds were used to help this project, whatever it is. So that we have the initial, everybody's going by, seeing that their money is being utilized. And then secondly, we're gonna have something that we can leave behind for the project. And I think like this church is a perfect example because it gets a ton of traffic. And it would, I'm sure we can find some place, I don't know if it would be allowable outside, but maybe inside where we could put a plaque about the CPA funding. Now, what I wanted to talk about tonight was if I went through and I was looking at the criteria for projects and funding projects and what have you. I believe this can be funded within the cost of a project. Right? So I think the signage can be part of a line item that
I-
goes into the cost of. a
So
think
if we,
that's-
if the sign is $50, we add $50 to the cost of the project.
For the permanent one. For the
Yeah,
one that's out on the road as like a bifold. No, that would have to come out of
That'd
the
come out of
administrative
admin
funds, and that would kind of be a traveling road
And we'd
show.
have 10 of them. You probably wouldn't need more than 10.
Oh, you wouldn't need.
We've,
You
how
need
many
like-
projects? we have?
Well, just What blows away or is stolen, you want to replace it.
Yeah, so I mean, if we look at this, you know, there are a couple up
Yeah,
here that
big
are kind of.
Tracker.
yeah.
Sabrina, can
You
you?
don't want to
I'm
have to
sorry,
pay a fee
yes.
of storage.
This way, yeah,
Yeah.
keep going.
New shed.
Well, we'll get a locker
Yeah,
for
so,
Sabrina's
like-
office.
Like, this is one of the ones that say your funds at work, you can go up, I think there's a couple of them. Construction funds at work, right? So something like this that we can put out in front of the, whatever project is going on. And again, I would do something in a bifold so that people could see it coming from both directions.
Okay.
And really just getting something printed up. In probably sheet metal or a sturdy plastic should only be a couple of $100 per set. And then if need be, we can build the stand to put them on. That's an easy thing to do. But then,
That one's nice.
this is a bronze plaque.
Yeah.
Love that.
That one's
Which
nice.
I think would be nice that if we're gonna do a project, we can leave it behind. Because some of the projects are gonna be outdoor projects, they're gonna be in the weather, right? So this is something that would be durable and that we could leave at the project and, you know, it's bronze, it'll be there for what have you.
Like the pickleball court?
Like the
That's the one.
pickleball court or whatever, whatever we're doing, but I think we just need the people in Southwick to get a better sense that their funds are going towards these projects and that, you know, they're making an impact. And when I look at this list of projects that we've done, I think we go back to them
Mhm.
and start putting in some of these plaques for some of the projects that we've done.
We had talked about the sign thing before, and I think the select board was involved with that. Were you there, John? We talked about them all being the same, looking the same.
Yep.
So I think we have to maybe keep that in mind so that all CPC signs are recognizable as CPC signs.
And I think if
And even
we,
some of the historical signs that are around, like there's one for the canal, on
Mm.
South Long Yard Road. I think that's where it came up, like, that's a nice sign, but maybe the rest should emulate something that looks similar to that.
A canal sign is, does that look something like this?
no,
It's-
it's
well,
just a,
Square with a dome.
yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
right on South Long Yard,
correct,
Right,
Right in the dip,
right,
in the dip.
right.
in the dip.
right across from North Pond Road
Mhm.
on South Long Yard.
Yeah,
Where the washout was, right?
Yeah,
Right,
So,
so I can, if. I guess we should find out, do we like the brass one or do we want something
beautiful.
different?
I like
We
this.
love the
I like the
brass.
brass one.
So why don't I get a quote and
Mhm.
like where this one says the 2009 restoration of this building, I would make it a bit more generic.
Yeah.
So that we don't, so that it's not specific to a particular date, but, you know, this project was generally supported by the people of Hubbardston through the Community Preservation Act, we would not use Hubbardston.
would be
Or
nice.
then, you know, they can spend their
We
own.
can
money.
take their money.
But the
Yeah,
other one, the
I-
white one that's over to the left, for something that is a project ongoing. If you'd like the way that looks, I could talk, it would obviously be the town of Southwick Steel as well. I can look into getting some costs on those as well. And from a size standpoint, what are we looking at? Something like that?
Yeah, something you could see when you're driving
Yeah.
by.
it'd have to be-
Okay. All right, so
Yeah,
I can,
something bigger than an election sign,
Yeah,
because everyone ignores them.
yeah,
Well, there's a few around there, like the big size election signs right there. I don't know, yeah, 4x6 maybe or something.
Oh,
that.
like at
yeah,
57, like at the light, like by mobile.
Yeah.
There's some
But
big.
There's a
most
couple
of
of really
them
big
are
ones
like-
there at the end there. Yep.
Mhm.
all right, so what I'll do is I'll look and get some pricing for those for our next meeting. And I think like the bronze one, we just say, okay, if it's $80 a plaque, then every project that moves forward, we're gonna look at $80. And maybe we go back and say, these are projects we wanna go
Right.
retroactively and put some.
And I think
plaques
that's
in.
probably
Mhm.
the one.
Yeah.
Where do you come up with funding for those?
Admin.
I would think it would, we could
Administration.
use our administrative funds.
And I would think if you're buying 15 of these things, the price would come,
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I mean, if we make it generic,
But if
we
you make
can
it
buy,
generic and you buy a dozen of them, then.
right, buy in bulk.
Sure.
So does that mean still has to wait until the town meeting to get the money approved?
No,
For
Not the
administrative,
fund.
no,
Administrative,
you can do
Is it-
what you want
Right.
with administrative. It's already set aside for administrative purposes.
Do pretty much
Don't use too
anything
much.
except for what you want to. It has to be approved by
The people.
Mr. Steiner
Does it?
and the county. Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh,
the town accountant.
well, I didn't see what. I didn't know, did it?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
So I'm done.
Thank you.
Nicely done, David.
Thanks,
Very nice.
Dave.
Yes, I was very good at
Thank you
sending
for-
an email and
for your work.
receiving an email.
Well, still. it's
point is you
thoughts
did it.
Behind it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so going back up to the beginning of our new business was the topic of order was the reorganization of the committee. Basically, that is to vote for new chair folks of our committee. So we need to do that.
So we need to have like a secretary, treasurer on down the line. In case like the chair and the vice chair are out someday, who's gonna lead the party?
Good question.
No,
My
Oh,
experience,
do we
it
want
already
that?
doesn't happen.
I think-
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could do that, but I did, in the past, we have gone down to like a treasurer kind of thing. It was more of a,
we've never.
yes, we did. Mr. Horacek had,
I blocked that entire period out of my mind.
well, okay,
We don't need a treasurer because we have a Sabrina.
okay, this is true.
but she's not allowed.
All I need is a chairman and a co-chair.
Okay, that's fine. I was just asking the question.
That's.
Good valid
All right.
question.
So, do we entertain a nomination for a chairman of the board? Chairperson, chairman, woman, however you want to.
I would like
Politically
to
correct.
nominate Chris. He's done it before and he did a great job.
Are you looking to not do it? Can we
Yeah,
clarify that?
Oh, yes, yes.
She's looking to not do it.
All right.
I've had enough.
Fair enough, fair enough.
So,
I got put in
thank you. That being said,
You did a great job. You did a great job.
You know what? I understand how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just
I
wait.
love this committee. I'm not,
You're not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
Good.
I'm not a leader. I like to do behind the scene work and I've had enough of being a leader and I'm not well educated in this, but I will be one day.
You have become very well educated.
And there are
Wicked
more
smart.
people than, more educated than me in this, and I would prefer that someone else do it, and I will do anything you ask me to do behind the scenes.
Then I second your motion.
Okay, so we will do a roll call vote for.
Did I say yes?
Oh.
You don't have a choice.
You can vote no.
Yeah, exactly. One, yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
You and I are on the same page with that.
All right, do you accept the nomination? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. I'll start with myself. Jeannie Reed, vote yes.
Brian Walker, yes.
Chris Pratt, yes.
David Williams, yes.
Thank you.
John Wally, yes.
Thank
Dave
you.
Spina, yes.
Thank
Beth
you.
Thomas, yes.
Thank you.
And,
Cassandra,
Cassandra, yes.
Thank you. Unanimous. We now have Chris Pratt as our person of CPC,
Person's good.
chairperson.
Person
go.
of interest
I'm a
is
person.
usually.
You're
the-
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Jeannie as co-chair.
Chair Joe.
Uh,
What do you think about that?
Is there anyone else who would like it?
She played that game once before and got her in.
What?
Chris, if you get booted, I will-
I can't.
I will
I've been voted.
immediately
You're
elect
He
it.
voted in.
he's
He's-
good for
voted
3 years,
anytime.
good, get
Okay,
3
I
years.
don't, no bad.
He's been voted from better committee.
Is there anyone else who would like to be vice chair?
I'll second the motion then.
Don't all,
Who's
All right.
vice chair? You?
Yeah.
yeah, you want, would you like it?
Hell no. I was chair for,
She was.
ever since there was a
Yeah,
committee.
Original
I remember,
Ongoing
Yeah.
for
DOG.
yeah.
34 years.
I'm retired.
I did that. once.
Would you like to keep it?
No.
Okay.
You don't like my
That's why he
email?
nominated you in the first place. That was quick.
I know, it was real quick.
More of these, thank you.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Jeannie
Jeannie.
Reed,
If you didn't want to do it, I
What?
would do it.
I'm not saying I don't want to do it. I just don't want to be, I got too much going
That's
on.
fine. I just want you to know there's an option.
So he's
No,
the
you got-
backup if you two aren't here then.
That's right,
We'll
treasurer.
make that.
Treasurer,
No, don't put me in charge of money.
It's just the way it goes.
We'll
Why
call him
can't
the
we call him the
sub-chair.
or the
Chair.
the clerk or something.
Substitute chair.
The chair, the high chair.
High chair.
Yeah, but you're already,
Not nice.
oh, which I know how it is, because I am on the other one too. Okay, so we'll
Would you
just,
like to start it?
sure, I will vote, yes.
Brian Walker, yes.
Chris Pratt, yes.
David Williams, yes.
John Wally, yes.
Dave Spina, yes.
Beth Thomas, yes.
Cassandra,
Cassandra Bach, yes.
Unanimous. Jeannie Reed is
She's
vice
not
chair.
here. She should be voted for all of this stuff.
Yeah, Cassandra. No, she's still
Smooth news.
next. Okay, so that is unanimous. So that is, we have our board. If we feel down the road that we do need more folks or more positions, we can always
We
add
have
to
a
it for
sub.
nomination.
Chair.
Sub chair, Dave McWilliams. All right, so we will move on
Intern.
to
Have you been in-
interim. I like that. Okay, so we can
Intern.
move on to oh, folks, let's get this out of the way. The minutes from August 10th. Okay, does anybody have any, if you reviewed them, please?
I
do you
make a
have
motion
any
to
co-
approve.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Second, okay. So all in favor of voting for the August 10th minutes, please say aye. Thank you, guys. Okay, now we need to sign. So if you were present, please sign. Okay, so while that's going around, so that we can speed up our meeting.
We're almost done, I think.
Old business, we are almost. So old business was just the disclosure of appearance of conflict of interest as required by Mass General Law 268. I'm just going to say, John Wally, you've submitted your form.
What
For your
form?
disclosure, for the disclosure for the conflict of interest.
I did not.
Okay.
I don't think,
Wah, wah,
Well,
wah.
but I
Okay.
will.
Please, can you
I
submit that?
can't because I was not in attendance.
And that's all that stuff before, the special town employee stuff.
I know.
Okay, all right, so John is aware he will submit that,
I
okay,
just want to do an update. Carl had sent me an email specifically about this, and he
Yes.
said that the select board has designated the whole CPC as special municipal employees. I think this is. what's that?
You have to be the whole city.
Right.
Right.
But he
Yes.
still has to submit his,
I still have.
He has to
that
submit it,
if
yeah.
you haven't already.
He has to submit the form.
If I haven't already.
You're just like, oh.
None of us have to submit a form unless
We're
we
doing
have
something.
correct.
Unless you're going in front of another committee
Yeah,
and
right. Okay.
expecting a favor of them.
You hit the nail
Yeah,
right
I
on
watched
the head.
all you guys this big on my phone.
Yeah.
After I came home.
So that's, and I just spoke to the select board just to confirm if, they had done that. So thank you for confirming that as well,
I'm sorry.
that they approved them,
I was reading this.
that they approved, the board as a special.
Yes, yep, yeah, because Carl read the
Employees.
agenda and he wanted me to know that the old business basically was, it could be checked off.
Gotcha. Okay. And then John just needs to get his paperwork in,
If he hasn't
if
already.
he
If he
hasn't
hasn't
already.
already.
Yep. All right. Excuse me. So updates on current projects in progress.
So I honestly don't remember what I was talking about there. But I've been working on the annual CPC plan, which the application and whatnot will be part of that plan. I would like some help in the 4 areas, the housing, the historic, the recreation, and the open space for this plan. I feel like I can't write it up because I'm not.
For the CP3 report, you mean?
No, we are required to submit an annual CPC plan as a committee every year.
Really?
And it was sort of on your
Never been
PPT.
done.
I know, which is why I've started. it. Which is- it was
Well,
sort
if
of on
you're
the
starting trouble,
it's
it's
sort of
all
on
on
the
you.
PPT, except on the PPT, it mentions another town's name.
What was this from?
was a-
Where is this coming from?
Do,
Did you look it up somewhere?
it's
Did
a,
somebody
it's part of the,
require
it's,
it from you?
it's part of the,
From CPA, from the coalition?
and I think it's also.
We have to do an
in our-
annual report.
Yeah, we do it
We
for
do
the
that at
town.
the end, and then we also need to do an informative
Yeah.
meeting
Yeah.
every year.
And I think also the plan. I'm pretty sure. It might be the report. The
We don't
plan
have
might be the
plans.
I think it's a
report.
report.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So I've been working on that.
okay,
I've
that's
been working
fine.
on that. But I need those 4
The plan
areas.
is that other people bring applications in.
Now, the report is a rear view mirror.
Right.
We don't know
So-
where we're going because we don't know what we're gonna get for proposals.
Let me just show you what I'm,
But each committee could come up with a plan,
talking about.
the park and rec, the historical,
Where,
Right, but we do,
For that one.
but
We
they
do
all
do
have
that.
representatives here.
Oh, it was there, honey.
Yeah, it
I
was,
think, yeah, CPA plans and application. is that-
Yes.
that's why you were the chairman for 30 years.
Mhm.
so,
34.
after the initial plan is created, they must hold a public hearing to update the plan every year. So the plan does need to be updated every year, but the plan, from what I see, and there might be a plan somewhere else, the plan hasn't really been updated.
Okay, well,
And
let's look at other towns and see what they do again.
Okay,
Now,
so
couldn't this be the
Go with Plimpton.
the PowerPoint that we
Yeah,
have, that we?
So you
can-
have-
Plimpton.
That we can,
Click
update?
Plimpton,
Plimpton.
because it's fun to say.
We love.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. Let me know if I'm scrolling too fast.
I'm dizzy.
So it goes into, it goes into affordable housing, background, affordable housing goals, recreation, resources, recreation.
So this looks like a
goals.
sales tool to the community is what this looks like.
Right.
Yep,
And I bet you any money.
I
we
think
can
it's
go
just an
back.
overview
Specific criteria.
of the criteria.
I think so.
Yeah. I think that's
The
just
other
an
one.
overview, like
Yeah.
you have for conservation
Yeah.
every year.
so I started it.
Yeah,
And yeah, we just need to put in the application. And even in the application, the draft of the application you sent me, you had like the instructions. That's a part of this plan.
right. So I mean, basically, this is an overview of what CPA is, what it means to our town.
No, but if you look in here too, they also get into projects, right?
Right,
Yeah.
there's some specific things for our town that we need to enter into there.
Well, so you could use like plans from an open space plan, you could look at, things
Yeah,
that people want, you could send out a questionnaire and get things that community members are interested in seeing in town. We could do something like that.
yeah. I have examples for each of the 4 areas and I kind of wanted to hand them out to the people responsible
Yeah.
for those 4
Yeah.
answers, so then they could see, okay, I want to write up something similar to that and then just submit it.
Right.
I don't know if you guys want me to hand it out.
Can you have, conservations go to the conservation coordinator for me, please?
Stop.
I would appreciate that.
I knew you were gonna do that to me.
Thank you.
How do you mean? You already started.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. And you have way more knowledge on these things.
Just gave up something to have more work.
But yeah, I mean, it's, something that we
Okay,
should all
fine.
look at before it gets posted, of course,
So that, for this one, this example, open space and recreation are put together. Right? Ooh.
What?
And then, well, we have historic resources and community housing. But Cassandra's on the computer. I can send that. Cassandra, you still there?
Yes. Yeah,
I can email that to you.
that'd be perfect.
You are historic, right?
Yes.
And then, well, I guess I'll do the open space. Is that a good-
Jeannie's Park and Rec.
I got the rec.
I've seen her there.
And then I can email,
John Wally's on the committee too.
Is he though?
We'll
He
be,
is.
we'll be a subcommittee.
I'll get,
or just try to, yeah.
I have
Make
Mike
sure you
do
put
it.
spray park down there.
yeah, as our, yeah. Okay. Yeah, God. When do we have to have this by?
Next meeting.
Yep, next meeting. What is that, October 19th?
Get it done.
So what are the rest of the committee members doing?
I'm gonna be on this little group
Yeah.
with
Oh,
the rest of
yeah.
the elected, and we're gonna
We
put together this recommendations for our application.
Yeah,
I'm very busy
So-
delegate.
We have divided the responsibilities of the group equally.
you can ask someone else to help you.
Well,
I already volunteered.
You volunteered me.
No, I volunteered to help you.
Oh,
No.
Still volunteering.
I don't have a lot of committee members to choose from,
No,
so,
really.
yeah, 2 of them are here and there's only 3 others. 2 others.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It'll get done, don't you worry. It'll get done. All right,
Okay.
okay.
Well, you're
so-
no longer
what else?
chair, so you've got free time, right?
Yeah, I'm chair of Park and Rec.
Gonna give you such a.
No, I'm gonna do it. All right, so was that it?
I mean, yeah, that would be the.
So- Sabrina, you said
Yeah.
you weren't sure what you were talking about regarding updates on current projects and progress. You mean, you're kind of going through this worksheet last
That's
week?
all set.
Yeah.
So this is up to date
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Thank you for reminding me.
That's
Yeah,
what I
that
thought
is,
we were
that is
talking
up to
about.
date.
on the website.
Yep.
Okay.
And the application process and deadlines, we already kind of talked about that and we're working on that, right?
Yep.
And then the last one, community outreach and education. I have a question. When do we want to do that annual meeting for the public?
We usually do it in June. It has to be done before the end of the fiscal year, and we usually do it to give a report on what we did throughout the year, so. It's good to have the town meeting and tell what was voted upon or not voted upon, give the process. I've got like a PowerPoint presentation kind of thing.
June.
June.
June?
Just after the town meeting.
So you could literally advertise that now, not advertise it, but you could put it on the website that would be for June of
You
twenty
just say the
twenty-three.
last meeting of the fiscal year. Whenever that is.
Do you think that's gonna be a separate meeting or like it's going to,
That's a separate meeting.
it would be, or
Nope,
would it be?
There are no other hearings. That's only for that. so to
Right,
say.
I think sometimes though, don't you do like the informal, informational meeting for the public first and then
Yeah.
after that ends, you do your own, like the meeting?
The other way
for
around.
the evening?
We do our meeting business. Approve the minutes of the previous and all that stuff, and then we go down to the information.
Right,
Okay,
but they're both as two separate.
okay.
Okay. Anything else? Old business? Entertain a motion from anyone?
I motion that we all go home. Second.
Okay. All right, those in favor of adjourning our meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you guys. Aye.
Sandra?
8:27.
Oh, that's fine.
Sandra, would you like to adjourn?
Oh, yes.
Hey,
Thank you.
thank you. Meeting is adjourned.